Hello, all you scaredy cats and kittens, and welcome to the Two Scaredy Cats podcast, where we talk about all things strange, unusual, and paranormal. We're your hostess with the mostest. I'm Stacy.
And I'm Kara.
So, Kara, what did you do in the past couple weeks since we've talked last? Did you do anything fun or cool or interesting?
I went to that concert, the Stardew Valley concert in Cincinnati this weekend.
That's right, I forgot you to do that. So, how was the concert?
It was fun. It was fun.
Was it crowded?
It was sold out, yeah. There was actually two showings. There was a 4 p.m. and a 7 p.m. We had.
Where was it at?
It was right. You know how there's like a concert thing right next to music hall?
Was it outdoors or indoors?
It was an indoor venue. It was like Memorial Hall is what it was called.
Oh, okay.
It's in over the Rhine.
Oh, so, I know where you're at. Okay, never mind. So you were at Music Hall.
Right? That's right. I think there was like the bigger one was right next to it, and this was like a smaller venue for like smaller concerts.
Okay. More quaint things. Got you. Okay. I know.
Yeah, this one was like crazy tiny, and we had box seats actually, which was kind of funny. I accidentally bought box seats because their website was super confusing. So I just selected like the two best, and that's the one it put us in.
Oh.
And then I accidentally bought another two, which is I ended up selling to some friends. But those seats were like the third from the front row, so they were also really good seats. But the box was really cool because we were like up a little and we had like way more space. We had like a little table we could like set stuff on.
You had room to spread out.
Yeah.
Basically, and weren't jammed in with other people.
Okay, but we were in with like 3 random people. So.
Oh, okay.
In the box.
That's kind of weird.
But, I mean, the one guy was okay, but then the other two were very strange. It was like some old guy who took his son, and so we didn't really, like, know what was going on.
Oh, okay.
And he's kind of like a boomer, if you know what I mean. Like, he just had some interesting comments.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was. But, I mean, it was fine. It was still fun. We enjoyed it. We both dressed up from the game, so that was interesting. We had like a lot of people.
Was anybody else dressed up, by the way?
Yeah, there were some other people. There were some people like right in front of us. There was like people dressed up as the characters from the game.
Characters from the game. Oh, that's cool.
We weren't the only ones, thankfully.
Yeah. That makes it worse when you're the only ones. When other people do it, that makes it cooler.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like a popular thing that people will dress up for like video game concerts as the characters. It's been like more popular than like I guess you wouldn't normally dress up for like normal concerts because it wouldn't really make sense. I guess. We ate at Montgomery Inn, the boathouse.
Oh yeah, the boathouse downtown. Yeah, that's nice. Were you able to get in though? What time did
we made a reservation. We ate there at like.
You made a reservation. Okay, I was gonna say if you didn't make a reservation, forget it.
Oh yeah, no, Leah made a reservation for us and everything. It was so funny though. They had valet only.
Yeah, we had that problem when we took Grandma.
Pulled in and Leah was like, "Hey, is it really a valet only?" And they said no, and they let us just park. So I would try that if I think they were super busy. We had
Grandma and Grandpa though.
Oh, I guess
let them, you know what I mean, to do the valet.
Leah just didn't want to do that, but I mean, I guess she got karma because a bird pooped on her car. So. Like, it was a crazy, like, literally we came out, we were like, are you kidding us? I guess it's probably because we're right by the water.
Yeah, like there's lots of birds around there. Yeah, were you guys outside or inside for seating? Because they do have outside seating.
Because it was, Leah's allergies were kind of bad.
So and allergies right now are horrible around here. Trust me, everybody's been sniffling and sneezing.
It was nice. So we got that.
Yeah, they have good food there. If you've never been to the Montgomery Boathouse in Cincinnati, I highly recommend it. It's very good food. Their ribs are outstanding. Chicken's really good too. Yeah,
their chicken is good. I had the pork nachos.
Oh, but that's good. We didn't get those. We just got regular nachos. We got Saratoga chips to ship with everything.
Yeah, because it's basically the Saratoga chips, but then there's like nacho pork cheese, and then there's the barbecue, the pulled pork barbecue.
Yeah,
it was something a little different. It was nice.
Yeah, sounds good.
So that's what we had. Well, I had.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I think most people got the brisket the other people at our table.
Yeah, that's really good too. Yeah,
because it's like
That's
limited
good
or
stuff.
whatever. Normally.
Yeah, they only have that certain times. Yep.
We got Grater's ice cream because they have that. It's pretty good.
Grater's is another popular
Cincinnati
ice
thing.
cream chain, and yeah, it's been around for hundreds of years. Very good ice cream. It's like French pot. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's the good stuff that you can like. It's like small batches too.
Batches.
I didn't
Yeah,
realize
they make it in very limited batches. Yep.
because that's what
Yeah,
Chris met up with us for dinner.
Oh, that was nice of them.
Yeah.
They have good food there.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we partied with the neighbors for the first time in a long time. We hung out. Mr. Alm was able to come down.
Oh.
He was finally feeling well enough. Yeah, so we got to hang out with him, which was really nice. And we played this really crazy game. It was like a horse racing game.
Oh.
And we used like quarters and stuff. And I won like twice, I think, and Dad won twice. Our buddy won at least once. But you bet with quarters. It's kind of like left, right, center, except it's like horses. It was a really fun game.
Is it
I can't remember the
Derby?
name of it.
Because I know that Derby
we thought it'd be the Derby was on Saturday, so we thought it would be a nice little fun thing to do. And then I had a craft fair earlier in the day, so I did really well actually, considering there was like nobody at this craft fair at all. Yeah, so I was happy.
Yeah, that's always good.
Yep. So, all right. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and get started. Kara, I believe you're up first this week.
Yep. And
so what do you have?
We have something fresh off the presses. If you've been on TikTok, you might have heard about this, but it's pretty crazy. Like one of the updates was just from like 18 hours ago. So this is like fresh, like still people are talking about it. But we're going to be talking about the time traveler shed. I don't know if you saw.
I've not heard of this yet.
This is pretty crazy, and it's like ring footage too. So
really,
yes,
no, I've not heard about this. That's weird.
It was like really interesting. It really piqued because I was like, oh, look into it, and we'll see if there's enough, substance to
do
it as a main topic or just like mention it. Mm-hmm. But it was pretty interesting. So, a TikTok user posted a video. This was on April 28th. That's when it started. Okay. From his Ring camera. This was the front of the house of someone walking onto his property. He has a second Ring camera on the back. Also to note that he does not live at this property. It is a rental. This is Airbnb. He rents out. So he has 2 cameras, and there was one in the back. Mm-hmm. And so this guy just randomly walks in the gate, starts wandering around the property, and then he shows us like the back footage, and this guy's walking around a little bit, and then he just walks into his shed. And then the guy calls the police because he thinks that the way that he was, it looked like he was like trying to like
living there or a vagrant or something.
No. It was like he was sizing up. This was in Florida, by the way, so this just makes everything make sense.
Florida man, Florida.
Florida man doing something crazy.
Yep.
So this guy walks. He's looking pretty. He looks pretty young, I would say, like 30s, 40s, maybe a little like. So he's not like super old. He walks into the shed. They call the police. He walks on the property around 2:37 p.m. This is in daylight. So
So during the
yes,
PM.
This is during the day, not at night.
Not
so it's even crazier that this just happened like broad daylight. He goes into the shed, crazy. And then the police get called, and he's just in the shed, to our knowledge. And the door is just open, and he's inside the shed, to our knowledge. So the police show up about 3:22. So that's like what, 40 or 50 minutes after.
Almost an hour, minute later. Yeah. Okay.
And he's been watching the camera, allegedly. We don't know.
And he never sees him exit,
he says
right?
He never seen him exit. So his belief is that he is still inside of the shed. The police arrive, and the guy is talking through the Ring camera to the police officers. He's like, hey, he's in the shed. And so the police go, and they check the shed, and he is not in the shed. And he's been watching, allegedly, the entire time. Because there's, people who are going to try and nitpick later.
Oh, yeah.
As we all know, the internet does.
Right. Yep.
So they're like, okay. He tells them like, hey, we don't see him. But then the police check the shed. Again, there's nothing in there in the shed. It's a really tiny shed, too, from the video. I highly recommend people, watching the video, too. I'm still, like, on the fence on if it's true or not, but it's pretty strange, some of the other stuff that we're gonna talk about. So, he goes in, and that's it for the day. The police leave, because they don't find anything, and they're I think they're a little annoyed, because they got called out. And then the next day, the guy, like, kept watching it. It's, you know how, like, you can turn the ring on so it'll always be capturing?
Yeah.
So he had it always capturing, and there was at no point did anyone come out of it.
Okay.
We didn't see him leave. The next day, around 5 p.m., there is a ring notification of a person in the background. He checks the camera, and an older man, like very much older, walks out of the shed. And just walks out of the backyard. Like, this guy looks like he's, like, maybe, I don't know, 60s, 70s, like, definitely, like, way, like, they look vastly different.
Than the guy that went into the show earlier, the other guy.
So, this guy was, so that's a lot of questions, like, what just happened?
What is going on, where did the old dude go from?
Where did the one guy go, and why is there now a new guy who left the shed?
Yeah. Huh.
Is what we're thinking.
Right.
So, the biggest theory I would say about this video was that this is some sort of stunt to promote his Airbnb. Because, like, you always have to think about that. But I still think it's interesting, though. Because I feel like, I don't know, that you were bringing way too much attention to a property, so I'm like, I don't know. So that's what they think. There's another theory that it's two older versions of the guy who posted the video.
Okay.
Like some time traveling versions, which I really don't think they look that alike compared to the guy who like posted the video. I think that's kind of like one of the silly, you know, how people run with it.
Yeah, the silly thing they came across.
And the most interesting theory, because someone found this, they did a reverse image search of the old man and found another old man that looks identical. However, this old man in question had actually died in July of 2018. But this man was obsessed with time travel. They were able to find like him on blog posts talking to people about time travel, how it would work. So he was doing a lot of research. Like, he's well known that he was very obsessed with the idea of time travel.
Huh.
So that's where this kind of gets really, really strange. And he actually studied at Harvard University.
Okay.
Which is kind of
cool.
Like
aerospace physicist or what? What was
we don't really know, because they're still like the internet sleuths are still sleuthing, if you know what I mean.
Oh, gotcha. Oh yeah, you said it's fresh, so never mind.
Like I said, this is pretty fresh. So on his obituary, it actually says "See you soon" at the end of it.
Okay, that's creepy.
Which, that's kind of weird, right?
Right, yeah, that is weird.
So,
and then he shows up in the shed.
Right?
That's crazy.
That we think. But we also don't know, how does the other guy then? Is that him?
That's what I'm saying.
When he's younger?
Where's the younger guy? So where's the younger guy at is my question. Or who is the younger guy? Did anybody do a facial recognition search on him to see if he exists?
I'm not sure. I have not seen anything about season more people are more obsessed about the older guy.
I'm
guessing because it's more strange.
About the younger I know, but I'd still be
I agree. I think there was better photo of the guy leaving than it was the guy going in.
Oh, okay.
Because the way he leaves is a little differently on the camera angle. He walks really pretty close enough to the camera that you can get a good view of him. As opposed to the other guy, it's a little bit more blurrier. I feel like it'd be harder to kind of get like a good read on it.
No, I get you. Yeah, that makes sense. Huh.
So
that is crazy.
There's more stuff though. There's more interesting things. So, there is actually a Stephen King book that was recently posted. People also think that this might be like a publicity stunt. About there's a shed with a staircase in it that leads down to a fountain of youth and a gateway to another realm inside the shed. This was like posted
What Stephen King book is this? But what Stephen King novel is this? Because I've read a lot of them. Which one is it?
But this is new.
Or is it one of his newer one? Oh, newer one? Okay.
Yeah, it was like 2 years ago.
It's not the fairy tale one, is it? There was one he called Fairy Tales or something with that kind of a name to it.
Oh, it's called Fairy Tale. That's the one.
Okay, so what is the one? Okay, I haven't read that. I have to read that now.
Well, now you should read it, because now...
I was going to say, now I'm going to have to go read it.
It might have a connection. We don't know.
Yeah, I'll have to go check that out. Interesting. Huh.
And there was another update that he posted. There were 3 code violations he found about the shed from past history. So, like, from past owners, you know how, like, sometimes people get violations?
Oh, okay. You
like,
had me confused. I'm like, wait a minute. He just got 3 random code. Oh, you're saying from the past.
Yes,
like,
he pulled up records on the property, and he found there was 2 in 2003 and 1 in 2021.
Okay, and
one was about the shed not being closed properly. But remember how I said earlier that when the guy went in the shed, the door was wide open. The police were the people who ended up shutting it when they were done investigating.
Oh, okay.
So, like, have people been going in these and leaving the door open?
Right. And then what was the other violation that they got in the past?
The one was about, like, wood. So he's not really sure. It said something about, like, there was something wrong with the wood. Maybe the type of wood. Weird. Yeah, it was really weird.
That is weird. Why would they care about what type of wood the shed's built out of? I don't understand.
It's probably like some, like, they had codes for the violations, and there was, like, fine fees, but, like, it didn't really say what the exact reason for the violation, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
It just had, like, code words or whatever.
Huh, weird.
And
or say, like, code number or whatever it was. Got it.
So when the guy leaves, because he does have it on camera, he leaves, he walks out the front, and there's a car sitting. He goes and talks to someone in the car, and then you see him walking off, and then the car pulls off and follows down the road towards where that guy is. So we don't know what happens.
Okay, wait, back
now
up,
there's
confusing me a little.
Yes.
So now wait. So which guy are you talking? Are you talking about the old man that left?
The old man that left.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So he exits the property, and there's a car waiting there, and he goes and talks to them.
He talks to the car. He does not get in the car though, and he just walks off though, to the right of frame, and then the car was facing, like, to the left, like, down the road, but then he turns around and pulls down the area where the guy was walking.
Oh, so he's basically following the guy, is what you're saying.
We don't know. Like,
but it's going in the same direction.
The car started going. Everything's alleged because we don't know what actually.
Right? No, I know. Yeah, I know.
People
are
trying
not
to get him.
Any of this is true. We're just stating the facts that we know so far.
They want him to set up a camera inside of the shed.
He should. Why is he not doing that?
Well, he lives 5 hours away from the property.
Well, so what? Go take a 5-hour drive, man.
Yeah,
people want to know.
Right
Come
now,
on.
This is, like, viral, bro. You gotta chase the viralness.
Right? Well, not only that, if you have all these people breaking onto your property and going into your shed, wouldn't you want to put up
curious
a
or, like,
camera
what
to
is
see
going on?
Yeah, what are they doing in the shed? That's what
I really want to know what happened. Like, what are they doing in there?
If he won't go do it, heck, he can pay me money. I'll go drive down to Florida and, put the thing in the shed.
But isn't that a crazy story?
That is crazy. I'm going to have to check in.
You'll have to watch the video. It's really, like, weird. Just, like, how they, like, wander around and then go in the shed.
Do they walk weird when they're going in? Do they seem like they're walking like normal people? Or are they walking strangely? Or are they, like,
they're, like,
drunk?
It just looks like they're... He thought they were breaking in, so it kind of looked like they were, like, casing the place. Or, like, they were, like, looking around, trying to, like, get an idea. Gotcha. But then all they do is go in the weird shed.
But why would you, why, if you're casing the place, why would you go to the shed? Because wouldn't you want to get inside to get to the TV and all the more expensive stuff?
Yeah, I'm sure that, like, why is that where they go? They shed. People think it's
that's odd.
Drug drop, but why? This very clearly has cameras. There's 2 cameras, front and back. And it's an active property where people are staying at.
No,
there is a lot of questions that are, like,
usually
very
when
strange.
You're doing usually you would pick an abandoned property to do the drug thing,
that's
not a
why
property
I'm like, I don't know if it's drugs. It's probably
so
something weird, but it's like, I don't know. Or these people are very just not out of it. But, like, they don't look, like, the old guy looks kind of normal-ish. Like, they both look kind of normal.
How was he dressed? Was he dressed normal to our time, or was
someone
he dressed
said,
weird?
Okay, someone said that the older guy looks like he was dressed from, like, the 80s or something.
Really? All right.
I don't know. You'll have to watch it and see for yourself. Literally just Google time traveler shed or, like, search on TikTok and you will find the videos or the guy's thing, and then he has, like, I think he pinned the two really popular ones, the first two. The first one, so he posted the first video about the first guy first. And then the next day was when he posted the update about the second guy. So it's not like he posted it all at once. These were two separate, which I feel like makes it feel a little more real.
Makes it more credible than somebody that's just trying to do a publicity stunt, just posting all this stuff like, oh, look at this found footage I found. And
yeah, that's not his normal. So his normal stuff he posts about is his Airbnb properties and like upkeep. So it didn't seem like a very strange kind of turn for his TikTok to suddenly be talking about time travelers and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it didn't feel like he was trying to like be clickbaity or like pranky.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So that's why it feels like it has a little bit of maybe there's something to
credence
this.
That maybe there's something. So I don't know. I guess.
But yeah, this is fresh off the presses. The video is really interesting. Yeah. It stumbled on my feed.
If you get a chance to check any of this and you want to get to us or reach out to us and let us know your thoughts on that, we'd love to hear from you and want to know what your ideas are and what's going on down in Florida in that shed.
Or have you seen anything weird on your Ring camera?
Yeah, really. Caught anything strange? Because I've seen some strange. I've seen some.
My new favorite horror genre is things caught on Ring cameras because it's just like.
Oh right.
It's like
awesome.
It's like very. I don't know how to say it, but like, because I have a Ring camera and I'm like, God, if I saw anything like that on mine.
Have you seen the one with the weird, creepy lady that comes up to their house in the middle of the night and rings their doorbell and just her face gets really weird and she's just acting all crazy in that and they get it on their ring. It was really strange, very odd. She was acting very weird.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that reminds me. I have a funny story about our Ring. You know how we have a Ring camera now in the backyard? Mm-hmm. Okay. So it's really up high. And the other night, every now and then, in the middle of the night, I notice it pops on. It's motion activated, by the way. We have 2 dogs, so we put them out and we like to keep an eye on them because they're our one's trouble. And we always have other people's. We live by 6 people. Our house butts up to 6 other people, and their dogs get into our yard. Apparently, we're the fun yard. I didn't know that.
What?
In dog world, yeah, we have random people's dogs end up in our yard all the time. It's so irritating. Yes, because then I can't put my dogs out. There's at least 3 of our neighbors that butt up against us. Their dogs end up in our yard.
How do they get in?
The dogs are diggers. They dig underneath the fence and they come in our yard. Or they're skinny enough that they'll peel back. All these fences are I forget. They've got it's open slats, and then you have kind of like chicken wire, but it's not chicken wire. And the dogs will somehow get the chicken wire moved out of the way and they come in our yard. But anyway, so the thing was going off the other night, and I thought it was strange because our dogs were in, and I didn't see anything out there. And we do have bunny rabbits that like to, come up on the patio sometimes and stuff. But Dad decided he was going to check the Ring doorbell camera. Oh my God, I thought he was going to have a heart attack. I'm like, what is going on? He pulls it up for me and shows me, and I'll have to send this to you, Kara. This is crazy. He has video image of a spider, and this spider looks like a freaking monster on the Ring because all you see are it's bazillion eyeballs and its big, huge legs, and you can see it spinning its web. And it was the most insane thing. But that's the stupid thing that's been setting off our Ring camera for the past 2 weeks now, making the stupid web. But it was the most, if you saw this, I was scared. I thought there was a cryptid in the backyard.
Oh my
honestly.
God.
Because it's so weird when you see it, because it's right up on the camera lens and it's so tiny, but it magnifies it and it looks insane. But yeah, so that's my Ring story for you. But anyway, so yeah. All right. So this week I have a story. I've never heard of this story. I found it, quite random. I was looking at something else and I got down this rabbit hole and I found this story, which was, I just felt that it needed to be shared. It was just a really crazy story I'd never heard of in all my years. So, this week it's called The Story of Sam, the Sandown Clown. So our story starts off in May of 1973, at around 4 p.m. There were 2 children, and they had been playing a game of hide and seek in I don't know if it was their backyard, but people say they were on vacation. That part's kind of unclear, that they were on vacation in this town, in this little island. Anyway, so they're playing hide and seek, okay? And they're near this lake called Lake Common, and it's on the Isle of Wight, which is in Wales. So the young children, it was a girl named Faye, and that's not her real name, by the way. It's an alias that her father gave her, who's age 7, and a boy of the same age. We don't know his name. I don't know why. It was never mentioned. Are playing, and all of a sudden they hear this strange siren or wailing type noise while they're playing hide and seek. So being curious children, as all children are when they're at that age, they decide that they're going to go investigate and find out where this noise is coming from, because to them it doesn't sound like it's too far away from where they're at, and they're curious to see what it is. So they go investigate, and they start walking, and as they're walking, they are passing some interesting landmarks that we need to know about for the story. So where they were at, this lake, is also near a golf course, okay? And this is a very big golf course on this island that a lot of people go there for vacation and stuff. It's kind of like the Hamptons for us in America. And there's a lot of people that like to vacation there. So the kids are walking by, and there's a lot of golfers out that day. It was a nice day, okay? And so they're passing by all these golfers, and then they pass by. There was also an airport there, an old airport. Now, at the time, the airport was not getting used a lot. There was not a lot of aircraft that went out and in on it. So the runway was a little rough. Anyway, so the children are walking, so they pass by both of these things, and they come to like the swamp kind of part behind the golf course. Now, when they get to the swamp area, there was like this little bridge, and this bridge goes over a tiny little stream. So, and that's where the sounds had stopped at, was like by this bridge and by the stream. So the kids decide to go across the bridge, okay? So as they're going across the bridge, they all of a sudden spot a hand with a glove on it, a blue glove, appearing on the underside of the bridge, okay? So as you can imagine, the kids were a little startled that, they were the only ones there, at least they thought so. And all of a sudden, they're seeing this glove. Now, what makes this even more interesting is that the glove that has a hand in it only has 3 fingers. Okay, so that makes it even more interesting. So they eventually see what it is the hand belongs to. A tall humanoid figure dressed similar to a clown appears to them. He was wearing a green tunic with a collar that had this like really crazy collar around the edge. He had on white pants and had a pointed yellow hat. Now, the hat was weird because on the top of the hat, it had this weird looking black knob, okay? And then it had a series of wooden antennae that were coming out of the sides of the hat. He had on the blue gloves that we talked about, and his clothes looked old and dirty. Now, when the kids saw him in the water off the bridge, he was carrying some type of book. But the weird thing is he would keep dropping the book, and he would very awkwardly bend over and try to pick the book up, but it would like keep slipping out of his hands, and he would keep trying to go into the water to get it. So he then, after they were watching him do all this, okay, he then walked down the creek bed a little bit, and they noticed that there was a hut on the side of the river, the little creek. He then went into this windowless hut that was, like I said, a few hundred feet down the creek. And the hut was very odd in that it was made out of like a metal, or it had like a metallic look to it. So at this point, the children were very scared, and the little boy was like, I'm done, I'm out of here. And he started running, and the little girl decided to follow him. So they decide they're going to head back to where they originally started out by following the way they had come. So the children start going back the way that they had began, and all of a sudden they hear that weird wailing noise, siren sound again. Now, they both decide to turn around to see, what it was, because they were curious. That's the whole reason why they had gone that far in the first place. But when they turned around, to their surprise, guess what was standing behind them? The strange clown creature was standing right behind them, and he was about 10 feet away from them. Now, remember, This guy had gone into his hut that was like, further down the creek from where they were, and they had already started walking. So it had to be moving very quickly to catch up to where they were. So now this clown creature is carrying, instead of carrying a book like he had before, he was now carrying a what they described as like a microphone, and it had a white cord attached to it, which is very bizarre. Really weird. Yeah, like where are we getting a microphone with a white cord? And the cord, like, it's dragging. Like, there's no, like, plug on the end of the cord, if that makes sense. It's just, like, he's just dragging it along. So the clown creature talks into the microphone and asks, or says to the kids, "Hello, are you still there?" And the children decide to go closer. Okay, I don't know about you, but if there is some... Yeah, why would you go closer to some weird clown creature?
I mean,
that is...
you never know.
I don't know. Yeah, it's just crazy to me that they were, I mean, because, and I know this is the 70s, and, 70s were a different time than we have now, and people left their doors open, and, not, you know what I mean? Like, people weren't the way they are today. So, I guess they weren't, and I guess because he was dressed like a clown, it wasn't as off-putting.
I think it would make more off-putting.
So do I. I mean, when they described this clown, like, he had, like, red hair, but it was, like, really messed up. His clothes were old and dirty. The kids were, questioning him on that, too. Like, why are your clothes so dirty? And he told them that it was the only pair of clothes that he had, and that's why they're so worn and dirty. It was really bizarre. So the children, are going closer to the clown, and, they found out, though, at this point, that the clown could speak without using the microphone. But the weird thing was that although the clown was talking to them, his lips did not move, and his speech was very garbled, so it was kind of hard for them to understand. It was almost like the mask that this clown, and by the way, his clown mask was very bizarre. I have pictures of it that I can, I'll be posting, but his eyes were like made out of triangles, they said, okay, and he had these like weird, it was painted very weirdly. It was just really bizarre. Why this strange clown? It's just like in the middle of the forest. Like, and the weird thing was when the kids were walking out there, okay, they passed by a bunch of golfers and nobody reacted to why are their little kids, walking in the middle of a golf course type thing. And, why don't you go home or why are you here? They also, interestingly enough, when they were going out that way, they passed by two guys that were working on a fence post trying to repair it. And this guy's never acknowledged the kids and said, "Why are you way out this way?" But because, like most people I feel like would have been like, hey, because they were 7 years old. I mean, you would have been like, "Hey, kids, why are you out here by yourself? That's not a good idea." But they didn't acknowledge the kids like they saw them at all. And they weren't that far away when they were talking to this clown creature either to say, the two guys were to say something about, "Why are you talking to that strange clown?" So anyway, so the kids start talking to the creature. Now, this is where it gets kind of weird. So his talk was very garbled, and he realized that the kids weren't understanding him. So he then whips out the notebook book thing that, remember I told you when they first saw him, he was holding it and it kept dropping into the water. So he opens that up and he takes out a writing instrument. It wasn't like our pen or pencil, it was something weird. And he started to write words down, but they weren't normal, like articulate sentences like, we're used to. They were just a garble of different words. And he would point to the word that he wanted the kids to read or know. So the little girl, through his pointing, used this method to figure out what he was trying to say to them. So he introduced himself to them as All Colors Sam. And the kids asked if this was, if he was a man, to which he laughed and he said no. Then they asked if he was a ghost, and he said, "Well, not really, but I am in an odd sort of way," which is like a very odd thing to say. So the kids then asked, "Well, what are you then?" And he said, And he then invited the kids to go into his metal hut. Okay, now, everything inside of me at this point is screaming, "No, kids, don't go into the metal hut. Why would you do that? You're not supposed to go to places with strangers." But the kids, they decided they're going to go hang out in the hut with the strange-looking clown man. So they went into the hut, and they said that when they got to the hut, the entrance to it was very weird. They had to crawl through a tunnel to get into the hut. And once they got into the hut, it was tall enough for the alien creature, which, by the way, the alien creature was very tall. He stood at like 7 feet tall. and it was tall enough inside of this hut for the creature, person, thing, whatever you want to call it, to stand up, upright. They said it had 2 floors, and they obviously went in on the first floor. And on the first floor, they said the walls were blue and green, and they had like a print on them. It had an electric heater in it, and there was furniture in there made of wood. So he talked with the kids for like 30 minutes, and he was sharing info about his diet. He said he would collect berries from another area and he would eat them. He talked about how he would get drinking water from the lake, but he would have to, he had a way of siphoning it so that it was drinkable water because, at that point you shouldn't be drinking the water, you get sick. And then after he shared all this information with them about that, he ate a berry in front of them to show them how he eats because he had a very odd way of eating. So he puts the berry in his ear, okay? And then he shook his head and the berry ends up shifting to his eyeball. So he's got this berry in his eye. And then at this point, he decides to twist his head another way. And then the berry ended up in his mouth and then he ate it like, we usually do. So after 30 minutes of talking to this thing, the kids decided it was time to go. They had enough of this. So he let them go, which is weird because, I guess if it was predatory, he would have, tried to kill them or whatever, kept them. So he let the kids go, and the kids ran, and they found a couple of golfers on the golf course, and they told them about their story. And they didn't believe them, of course.
Yeah.
That sounds like pretty wild, made up story by a couple kiddos. So he didn't believe them at first. So after they, ran and told them, then they went home. And that was kind of like the end of it. So Sam the Clown had not been seen or documented for since then. And the whole encounter was reported actually in the January-February issue of Befora, which is a journal. It's a special kind of UFO journal thing or whatever for Britain, I believe it is. And that was in 1978. And the story was titled Ghost or Spaceman of 73. Now, it should be interesting to note that Faye, the little girl that was, talking with the alien, that her dad had 2 encounters with UFOs or had an unexplained encounter happen to him before this encounter that the little girl had. So the first encounter for him happened in October of 1970. He actually witnessed a UFO driving overhead of his car on his way home one night. And another time, while on a cliff in Campton Bay in March of 1972, he was standing up on the cliff and looking out at the ocean. I guess it was kind of, a little bit at night. It was kind of dusk, I guess you would say. And he looked into the water and he saw 2 yellow points of light, looking up at him from underneath the water. And he got freaked out. He thought it was some kind of, sea creature or monster that he thought was going to, eat him or whatever. But this is the only time that this Sam, the clown person, has been mentioned ever in history. Some people speculate that it was a alien type creature that they came across, just because of the metal shed that he had. People thought that maybe his ship. That was some of the speculation. And he had talked about that he was not the only one, here on, I guess, in Earth or whatever. So, and I thought it was strange that when the children were, had walked past all the golfers or whatever, none of them noticed them. And they had this loss of time and all that. You know what I mean? That's all things we've heard of before when people talk about,
Lost time.
Lost time and stuff, which I thought was interesting. Also, when the kids had the experience, the 2 guys working on the post, they never saw the kids at all. It was almost like they were in this bubble that, you know what I mean? Nobody could see them, that they were hidden. So I thought it was a little bit crazy how they were able to be hanging out with this person and nobody noticed this strange looking clown creature talking to these 2 kids. But yeah, that's all I have for you. So people, if you're ever out and you see a strange clown creature don't sit and talk to it. Probably go the other way, because I don't think any good's going to come from it.
You never know.
I mean, luckily the kids didn't get, abducted or anything.
Or,
but,
other horrible things that can happen to children.
Exactly, from, aliens or even real people. I mean, just keep your eyes peeled out there. You just never know what you're going to find or come across. And don't go into these strange sheds.
Yeah, you never know where you'll be teleported.
Right? Yeah.
Or time travel.
Exactly. You never know what century or what world or what new strange place you're going to go. But that's all I have this week.
Well, if you enjoyed our podcast today, follow us on Instagram at Two Scaredy Cats Podcast. And please be sure to leave a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It really helps the show get discovered. And tune in 2 weeks for a new episode. And to all our scaredy cats and kittens out there, remember, curiosity didn't kill these two scaredy cats.